She grew 2 centimeters just in the last few months. I have to buy her new clothes so often now. Oh my, how lovely. You must get to dress her in all sorts of cute dresses and clothes. It must be so much fun for the both of you. Why do you want to have a pretty dress like a witch? The members of the Ushiyama family made their way towards the mansion. Alright, well, let's see. A restaurant chain. Was that a... That has to be a detail that was in the story as well. Maybe I'm just forgetting it. Actually, hold on. A design company. It felt truly special to have everyone gathered on the island like this. Especially because, after 6 years, Ushiyama Beller had finally made his return to the island. Not only was it special for the adults, who had him as the focus of their conversations, but it was also special for the cousins, who were finally able to catch up with him after so long. Man, even though it's been 6 years, it feels like nothing's changed at all. I can't believe it's been that long, yeah? Can't wait for us all to catch up. Well, we also played D&D in the guest house tonight. It's gonna be lovely. Might as well. Like, instead of going through the Purgatory story, once again we're gonna be distracted by a D&D session, and we're gonna delve into a sequel to the Witches and Woodlands. That will surely be a twist. That this is gonna end up being another D&D kind of game. And we're gonna have all night to hear about what you've been up to, Beller. I bet you have all sorts of interesting stories. Do you think I am, some kind of delinquent? I've been living a honest, calm life, like the pure-hearted man I am. Liar. I can see it written all over your face. I'll extract it by force if I got it. You haven't changed a bit either. There's no chance you'll get a boyfriend acting like that, you know. What the hell? You idiot. Did a strike in there? You don't have to hit me there every time. It sure is lively now that Balakun is back. Looks like Asumu-san's parents raised him well. Asumu? Asumu's parents? That one hurts, Ariakey. Yeah, cause Better had to stay at the Essen grandparents. Wait a second, did I never make the connection that those grandparents are from Asumu's side? That Beller was also with Asumu? Huh. Cause yeah, Beller had to stay with some grandparents in those 6 years, but I don't know if that was ever described that well in the main story. Cause I don't remember it being talked that much. I'll be taking our luggage to your rooms. Please, take your time and enjoy the rose garden. Now, if you excuse me. Goda gave a deep bow before leaving with the family's luggage. The sky was clear, and the rose garden was blooming. There really was no better day for the family conference. Kinzo-san, looks like your family has arrived. The family physician, Nanjo, stood by the window alongside an old man who was examining the people in the garden. We're fools. Still a miracle that any of them are capable of standing on those legs of theirs. They have no value but as a cattle for the witch's revival. The man turned away from the window, leaving the doctor by himself. It was pointless for him to keep watching such an interesting show. I have no need for them. I need no children or grandchildren. All I need in order to live is your smile and grace. Tonight, I shall return everything to you, Beatrice. My ring, my gold, my soul, all of it shall be returned to you. My family now belongs to you, so do with them what you please. So, Beatrice, I beg of you, before you take my soul, allow me to see you one more time. I do not need anything else. The man's scream pierced the heavens as tears flowed down his face. There was no way he could know if the witch had heard him or not. The clock had started ticking, but the door had yet to open. Oh, Beatrice! It is so quiet, so lonely without you. Therefore, I have no need for a life without you. Come, take over this island. Come, wind, rain, storm, thunder, heart. Take this island to the realm of demons and witches. Oh,
Maria's rounds. It was right here. Right here.
Fine. If you want to keep looking for it, stay there and look for it yourself.
Ooh, I'll definitely find it. I'll look for it and I'll find it. It's Maria's rounds. It has to be here. It has to be.
Hey, Rosa-Basan, do you think that's a bit much? Like, this is like, what, the 5th time that we're going through this? Like, we have to go through this fan story, we have to do this in the fan story too? How can you say that? Do you have an idea how hard it is to raise a child? Don't get involved with issues you know nothing about. Merkin, we should head back.
Maria's rounds. I'll definitely find it.
The wind was howling, and it was rapidly getting colder. It was hard to believe how beautifully blue the sky had been hours before. Hold on a second, guys. I'll be right behind you. Balor? Seriously, I'll only be a minute, okay? Balor, we've been returning to the mansion to everyone else, slowed down. He felt wrong leaving Maria how she was. He must have been able to do something. Oh? He waited for Rosa to re-enter the building, then turned around and returned to where Maria was. Okay. Are we gonna have a Balor help Maria, like, find the rose? Like this time? And that may be when Virgilius is gonna enter. Like, that would actually be quite an entrance. Because, like, Maria is the one who found Erika first in episode 5. In her swimsuit and all that, like, crawling all the way here. Well, not crawling, but... well, I guess you can imagine Erika crawling all the way here like a spider and all that, but no, I don't think she was crawling. He found her kneeling by some of the roses. That rose really is important to you, huh?
Mother.
Balor squatted next to Maria, staring at the soil before both of them. It was obvious to him. The rose had most likely been blown away in the wind, and there was no way she'd be able to find it again. That or someone else took it for some dessert. But he could tell that for Maria, this was a special rose that she couldn't give up on.
Are you going to tell me to give up?
I don't know. I am quite stubborn myself, you know. If someone told me to give up, and then they start sending people to try and convince me. Well, I'd get even more stubborn, just to prove them wrong. But still, I don't want you to catch a cold, you know. Being stubborn isn't always a good thing. Sometimes you get into trouble because you don't know when to give up. He glanced over at the patch of soil Maria was fixated on, thinking about what he could do. Then he straightened up, removed his jacket, and placed it over Maria's shoulders. Oh, that's sweet. There. That should keep you warm while you're looking. I can't really stay here with you, but I can at least do this.
Don't need it. Beatrice's magic will keep me warm.
I guess you can consider this like an extra layer of magic. Like working in tandem with Beatrice's. Well, one more protective charm couldn't hurt, right? Yeah, exactly. Exactly my thought.
Bella's cut is a protective charm?
And that's right. As you get older, you'll realize a man's jacket can be the best protective charm for a girl. Maria's eyes sparkled. As soon as Bella started speaking her language, she cheered up. Oh.
I believe it. Bella's jacket is a protective charm. Hey, Maria also.
She reached into her bag, frantically searching inside it. Ah yeah, the scorpion charm. Every so often, while rummaging through, she would take out one of the many toy charms inside, examine it and return it to the bag. Eventually though, she found one she was satisfied with.
This is also a protective charm. It'll protect Bella from witches.
Are you giving it to me? Is this a trade?
Maria will give you the jacket back later. But you can keep the charm. And she'll keep Bella safe.
Bella examined the charm that Maria gave him. It sounded like a cheap toy you could find in any shop. Thanks, Maria. I'll definitely keep it safe. And then he stood up. Don't overdo it, alright?
Promise.
Bella gave Maria a smile, then waved as he returned to the mansion. Surely, once it started raining, she realized it was no use, and returned. Well, about that though. Bella may be stubborn, but Maria, she also has that kind of trait. Maybe it runs in the family. Kinzo himself was quite stubborn too, I bet. The heavy rain that had been called to the island fell from the sky, bringing a gloomy feeling to the rose garden. There was no sign of the blue sky that had greeted the family when they arrived. All that remained was a mirthless wind that tore away all the leaves too weak to survive its onslaught. It was as though the weather had waited to give everyone a chance to see the rose garden's beauty right before it took it away. A single girl was standing in the rain, right next to the rose garden. Her eyes were fixed on a single bed of roses, hoping that something would miraculously appear there out of thin air. If she stopped believing, it would disappear. So she had to keep believing. She'd definitely get her rose back. She was now wearing the protective charm Bella had given her over her head, which sheltered her from the rain. After everything he had done for her, she had come back with a rose. She had to come back with a rose. She couldn't disappoint him. If she left now, the rose would disappear forever. The moment she thought that, she stopped feeling the drops of rain soak through Bella's coat. Had the charm gotten even stronger? No, I think it is Beatrice. Yep. Hello, Maria. Yeah, it's been a while. An umbrella appeared over Maria's head, and a familiar voice rang out. Maria's eyes, which were previously filled with despair, immediately lit up.
Ooh, Beatrice! I knew you'd come eventually. I didn't stop believing.
The girl wrapped her arms around the lower part of the witch's dress, taking in her warm presence. Your belief is strong enough to allow me to freely wander the garden at this hour. But what possessed you to come here during this awful weather? Even a witch could catch a cold in a rain like this. Maria gave the roses a downcast glance, clutching the jacket wrapped over her head.
Maria's rose is definitely here. We marked it with a ribbon and everything, but it's not here. I cannot find it. Maria tried and used all her magic. Even with the protective charm Maria got from Bella, I can't find it.
Oh. So the grandchild of Kinzos who's returned to this island gave you a protective charm? What an interesting turn of events. Maybe his anti-magic toxins aren't as strong as I believed. Yeah, about that one. Beatrice approached the roses, waving her hands over them. She closed her eyes and waited for a short while. I do indeed sense a strong presence from this place. It seems that your belief has prevented its soul from fading completely. Searching with your eyes will no longer be enough, but my magic could definitely bring it back.
Really? Thank you, Beatrice.
However, as my magic is still weak, I will need you to lend me yours as well. See it as a joint practice between master and student. Maria nodded enthusiastically, closing her eyes as she moved Beatrice's side. Come, try to remember. What form did you have? It must have been a beautiful form indeed. Maria could feel the warmth of Beatrice's magic. It felt so close and yet so out of reach. If she opened her eyes, she was sure the magic would disappear. Golden butterflies surrounded both Maria and the witch. Though it was a frail magic, one that could very easily be shattered. Slowly, the lost rose began to regain its form. Come back from the world of the unseen and bless us with your form once again. Beatrice gave a gentle chant, waving her hands to focus her magic on the rose. It was bathed in a glowing light, and then... Hooray! You may now open your eyes, Maria. Maria's eyes sparkled as she finally laid eyes on the rose she had been searching for up until now.
Maria's rose. It's here. It's here. Amazing. You're amazing. Thank you so much, Beatrice. I knew your magic could do anything. I can't wait to become a witch like you.
Oh, I have no doubt you can. I too wished to be a witch 1,000 years ago. With enough training, you too can learn the endless magic. Beatrice smiled gently before pulling out an envelope from behind her back. It bore the family crest, and it was delicately sealed with wax. Now, I have a request for you. At the family dinner, I want you to become my messenger, and... Beatrice suddenly turned, looking over to the far entrance of the garden. Maria, an anti-magic presence is approaching. I must take my leave. Like, God forbid, that must be Erika, that annoying bitch.
Beto?
Lo and behold, it's not gonna be Erika this time. Or maybe it can be, like, Erika too, because both Erika and the Virgilius disappeared. So, either it's gonna be just Virgilius or both of them at the same time. Imagine. Before Marty even had a chance to finish, Beatrice began to disappear, turning into a cloud of butterflies as though she were crumbling. Even though there was a barrier placed on Rokenjima to make it fit for the witch's arrival in game, it appeared that it was possible for it to be breached. But then, Maria saw it too. A tall, dark figure was approaching her, dragging its legs. This was what drove Beatrice away, wasn't it? So she must be prepared for anything that draws near. However, as the figure drew closer, Maria realized he was a human, soaked from head to toe, wearing a tired expression. As their eyes met, the human smiled gently, before speaking in a soft voice. "Hello there." "What's up, Dato? What's with the face?" "Don't tell me it's Erika again." The witch glared at the ward with an irritated expression. She seemed extremely bothered by something. Bellarmino could only look on confused. He had never seen her like this before, after all. Dato? "I did not place this piece on my board." "The hell? Don't the hell me? That person is not my piece. They are not supposed to appear here." "But what does that even mean? Isn't this your game? Aren't you controlling everything that happens?" "I'm supposed to be. But it appears as though a greater witch than I has thrown in a new piece without my permission." So either it's been Castell or Beatrice is sort of lying right over here, saying like it is her piece. If we are to go with the idea that, hey, this is supposed to be like another persona of Yasu, like the person from 19 years ago, to kind of trick Balor into thinking that there's like a new opponent or something like that, I guess we shall see. That or like, I mean, who knows? Maybe it's both. Maybe Bercastel is the opponent right over here, but is also helping Beatrice with this new persona of Virgilius. Now that it is on the board, I have no power to remove it. Better's expression remained puzzled as Beato reinspected her moves, trying to understand where the extra piece came from. Just then, though, the sound of another voice filled the room. "Ah, okay. That piece belongs to me." "The hell? How many more of you are gonna show up?" "The great Lady Bercastel, Witch of Miracles. What is the meaning of this?" "I have been presiding over your game, and I've concluded that it is unfair to the human side. That's why I've inserted a piece of my own to assist Balor." The new witch Bercastel spoke in a tone bordering on apathy, which caused Beato to grit her teeth. Then Bercastel turned her empty gaze to Balor, who flinched a bit. "You should be grateful, Balor. I went out of my way to find someone to help you out." Who are you exactly?" Okay, so apparently, Balor did not meet Bercastel yet, which, yeah, makes sense. Yeah, because admittedly, like the first time that Balor would see Bercastel, it would be during the banquet of episode 2, back when he was naked and he was walking on all 4 legs. And Bercastel was roaming around and all that, but even then, he probably did not think much of them Bercastel until much later, like episode 3? How pitiful. After Bato's brutal game last time, I found myself having to encourage the player to keep going. I suppose I embarrassed myself for nothing. Or it can be like in the extra tips, because I do remember that Ben Costell was giving us the pep talk right over here, which can either be both, can both be addressed to us, the readers, but also better as well, to keep going, which I think it must have been the tips of episode 2, like the tea party. Why did I say tips? It's probably because of Higurashi, that's for sure. It's tea party, it's not tips. Ballard narrowed his eyes. Indeed, a faint memory from a forgotten tea party barely remained in his head. Yeah, exactly. That's what I was talking about. Beach's thrashing of him in the previous game was, by every definition, merciless. You know, I look at these sprites and I can hear them in my head. Like, Beatrice is cackling and I... and Better is like... I can hear them. But he wasn't alone, was he? Someone was there to push him to keep fighting on. Fight on!
Nipa!
Man, those were the days. Why was it so hard to remember? Even though she was right in front of him, he couldn't remember. And then again, he couldn't deny it either. He'll be joining you soon. I hope the two of you get along. How can I trust you? For all I know, you're just bringing on new abuse to force me to surrender. How rude. After all I've done for you, you won't even trust me? In that case, why not I use Bato's own reasoning to ease your worries? This person has reasons of his own to defeat the witch. Both Bato and Bella were taken by surprise by Brent Costell's Red Truth. Red Truth was a rule introduced in the previous game. It's still fairly new to Bella. Everything spoken in red is the truth. You cannot lie using the right words. So if that were the case, then this person was... A man has washed ashore from a sunken cruise ship? Indeed. It met Maria-sama at the garden while she was outside, still wearing a life jacket. Right now, Dr. Nanjo is ensuring his safety. Natsuki bit her lower lip, unable to hide her mounting stress. Yeah, I guess in the end, unless there's gonna be like a twist that even Erika survives, it's just that they're gonna be revealed like later. But unless that twist is gonna happen, yeah, apparently only Virgilia is gonna be here. Meanwhile, Erika probably hit her head on a rock, like while she fell from the boat. And that's probably what happened like this time. Oh well. She reassured her, insisting in her head that this must be a string of horrible coincidences. How old does he seem to be? I believe he is in his late teens or early 20s. Once he has recovered, we will likely be able to learn more about him. I see. I apologize if this causes an inconvenience at the conference. We could not have predicted something like this. No, it's alright. It's the duty of the Yoshumiya family to assist those in need. He shall be allowed to stay until the typhoon has passed. Has the rest of the family been informed? Kurao-sama has been informed, and is updating the others about the situation. I understand. I shall join the rest of the family soon. Understood. I shall assist Kanon and Dr. Nanjon with the guest's recovery. Now, if you'll excuse me. Alright then. Genji bowed and left the room, leaving Natsuki by herself. As she stumped against the wall, a prayer began to form in her heart. Please, allow the typhoon to end tomorrow. May it end swiftly, so she does not need to handle this any longer. To Natsuki, the sound of the rain felt like the tick of a clock, making time pass slower and slower. Alright. Going through similar motions like episode 5. The adults had gathered in the parlor following the news of the sudden guest, alongside Maria, who was having her hair dried with a towel. If he could make it all the way to the garden, then he's probably relatively unharmed, right? What an unfortunate man, though. Dr. Nanjo has already seen to it, and there seem to be no serious wounds. He was escorted by Kano to a bath, and Genji is fetching him of Chanju clothes.
Well, isn't that lovely? That means he may be with us soon. He said he's roughly Barakun's age, right, Maria-chan?
Gotta remind myself that Eva is kind of a like in terms of how she talks. She is a very Ojo-sama, like a 90s anime ho kind of girl, kind of woman.
He's a bit shorter than Bella, though. He made Betta disappear.
Maya's expression turned grim as she lamented Beato's disappearance, but the adults paid a little mind. Isn't that swell? That means he'll have people about his age to keep him company. I'm sure the kids will be excited to meet him. I bet he's exhausted for surviving an incident like that, though. It's a miracle he washed up on the side of the island.
It's probably thanks to that life jacket of his that he made it here.
Ah yes, that frickin' life jacket.
Still though, swimming all the way here must require a lot of stubbornness.
The storm doesn't seem like it will be ending anytime soon, so he'll probably be here until at least tomorrow. Unfortunately, the phone seemed to be down, so I couldn't notify the police of a survivor. However, today is still the family conference, so I would ask that you all welcome our uninvited guest. That goes without saying, Crow-san. The kid's already been through plenty. You know, with Ryukishi style of like how this visual novel was made, it's not specifically like Uminetta. Like this is a Ryukishi kind of thing. Sometimes it can be difficult for me to kinda guess who is the one that says the line. You know what I mean? I hope that I'm not the only one who does that, who has that kind of problem sometimes with this kind of format for the sprites and how they say it. Like, unless like if I forget to look at which sprite has changed, if I don't see which sprite has changed, which indicates who said that line. If I don't see that, then I'm gonna be lost on who said that. Yeah, it's not like you have like the text like at the bottom with the name of the person that said it, sadly. So, yeah. As the adults continued their conversation, the door suddenly opened. And then again, I am one of the newer generation of Umineko readers who has read Umineko with the PS3 sprites. There are some of you veteran fucks who have read the original Umineko in the Ryukishi sprites. Those of you who are hardcore Umineko readers who can distinguish who said what and all that. I bow down to you, my masters. As the adults continued their conversation, the door suddenly opened, and the people in the room jumped as they thought the guest is there, just to be greeted by Nanjo.
And Dr. Nanjo, how's the guest?
There is no need for concern. The boy is okay. He made it to the island unwounded. Unless he develops a fever overnight, he will be fine.
There was a collective sigh of relief from the adults, who calmed down a bit with Nanjo's revelation. Meanwhile, Gora, who had been listening in intently, poured some tea, serving it to the table. Why not relax with some tea until the guest arrives? Oh, I should call the kids over so they can greet him. Yeah, see, that's what I was talking about. I had to think for a second. I think it was Eva who said that. Yeah, it makes sense. I don't think that Nanjo would say that. I bet it will be less overwhelming if there are some people his age as well.
While Eva called the guest house, Natsuki entered the room. Unlike the other adults, who seemed at ease, Natsuki still seemed bothered. Ah, Natsuki. Excellent timing. We are preparing to greet our new guest. Nanjo informed us of his well-being, so he should be arriving soon. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, now I'm curious about the dressing, like Virgilius's clothes, because in the original story with Erika, like Erika didn't have her clothes; she had her swimsuit, so she had to use like Jessica's old like dress, which still like sometimes you forget about that. Like you see Erika, that is her clothes. Like, you forget that those were originally Jessica's, which is wild. So, I wonder what the case is in this context. Like, whose clothes are those? Because... well, I guess they could use, like, the servant's clothes. Like, I'm actually curious. Like, I have to check how he looks. Because otherwise, they only have, like, a daughter, so... I see. That is good to hear. For a short time, the casual conversation, mostly the adults asking Nanjo about the guest, continued for a short while, until the door opened once again. Kanan and Genji stood on both sides of the door, allowing a young man to step in. The young man, who was wearing what appeared to be old clothes belonging to either Kraus or Rudolph, didn't seem overwhelmed by the eyes of the adults. Wow, like, belonging to either Kraus or Rudolph, so... Those are clothes from when they were young. Whew. They must be pretty old. At the same time, he seemed unaware that his clothes bore a crest that few were allowed under normal circumstances. Okay, I see. When he entered the room, the air became tense. At first, his expression seemed serious, but before long, he gave a soft smile and bowed politely. Pleased to meet you all. My name is Furudo Virgilius. He was soft-spoken, and it seemed as though he effortlessly eased the tension in the room. It felt like his voice alone could soothe any tense situation. Furudo-sama, allow me to introduce you. This is Ushirumiya Kraus, the representative of the Ushirumiya family head. Virgilius-san, welcome to Rokenjima. Okay, I'm definitely noticing like a new song right over here, which is nice. But okay, it's definitely like a reference to a completely different song. Like, feels like it has like a motif to it, but I don't recognize it. Like I cannot put my finger on it. It's probably a reference to the songs that you would usually associate to Erika, like Blue Gear or The Great Detective Knows or something like that, but I'm not sure. Though your arrival here may have been an accident, you are nevertheless our guest. Please, make yourself at home and relax. I imagine you must have been through a lot. Thank you very much, Ushirumiya-san. I am grateful for the warm treatment and greetings. My apologies if being here is an inconvenience. Most of the people in this mansion are from the Ushirumiya family, so feel free to call us by our first names. You can call me Rudolph.
Hopefully having to remember so many names isn't overwhelming. We have children your age, so I believe you will have a pleasant stay. My name is Ushirumiya Eva, and I am the second child of the Ushirumiya head. My, it seems like you've received some small crowds of Nissan's old clothes. Some people in this room will do a lot to wear that crest on your collar, you know.
Oh boy. As she said that, Eva shot Natsuki a nasty look. Natsuki only gave her a slight glare in return. Before Virgilius had a chance to reply, the sound of footsteps running through the corridor could be heard, and the cousins entered the room. As soon as they spotted a familiar figure, their eyes widened.
What? Who is that? My. He's handsome.
Imagine. Like, first time Jessica sees Virgilius, she has like the puppy eyes for puppy eyes? Like she thinks, ain't he a handsome fuck? This man is third of Virgilius. Due to an unfortunate incident, he found his way here and will be staying with us until the typhoon passes. Huh? Incident? What kind of incident?
Atina.
Maria, why are you referencing that? Stop it. It happened like hours ago. You can stop with that. Virgilius approached the cousins and bowed his head, giving them the same charming smile he gave the adults. Pleased to meet you. My name can be a bit of a hassle, so feel free to call me Ryu. I ain't called that often, so I may be more comfortable for everyone here. Ryu, okay. Don't worry about it. Out of all the families in Japan, we're probably the only one with names as weird as yours. Yeah, Virgilius or Virgilia is definitely not a Japanese name. Actually, feels like a very Greek-like name now that I'm thinking about it. Am I right? I'm Beller, and these are George and Jessica. Looks like our parents all have the hobby of naming their kids weird shit.
Beller, don't talk to the guests like that. How rude. Sorry for that. He can be like that at times.
Oh my gosh, she's actually like, is she having like a little bit of a crush on Virgilius right over here?
Hello, my name is Ushirumi and Jessica. Welcome to our mansion.
She says that as she twirls her hair in her finger. The confused cousins introduce themselves to the guest, who managed to effortlessly blend into the room. Despite being an uninvited guest, his presence eased the tension in the room, and he didn't seem overwhelmed by the attention he was drawing. He remained calm as he spoke to the members of the family with a smile. A Beller son, was it? It's a pleasure. I hope we get along. The man who appeared on the board was now standing in the witch's room as well. Just like on the board, he had a dignified presence, and remained calm as he reached out to shake Beller's hand, despite the unfamiliar situation. Ryu, right? I can't believe someone managed to drift to Rokkenjima. How come he got drawn into this game too? I guess I became the piece of a witch before I even drifted here. My master, Lady Ben Castell, granted me a miracle, but in exchange for that, I have to help you defeat the witch. In that sense, our objectives are alike. Huh. Okay, like what's the twist here? How so? Virgilius' eyes glint with determination, and smile on his face whitened. We both want to get out of here. It's painfully obvious, right? We're both in the exact same situation. We're trapped on the island of the witch, and we wish for nothing more than a safe return home. But if it was that easy, I wouldn't be here. In order for me to survive, the witch must be defeated, and I'll do anything to win.
I see. I get it now. So this is Lady Ben Castell's piece. I guess the best motivator these days is the promise of a reward, right?
I see. So you're the great witch Beatrice. I must admit, I was convinced you would be more refined and elegant, but your laughter is rather garish. We may be on opposing sides, but I hope we can get along until you are forced to submit. It's a pleasure, Beatrice, son.
What was that?
The witch, who had been amused until then, was caught off guard by the man's words. Instead of her, the one laughing was Beller. I think I like you, Ryu. Can't believe you got that riled up so quickly. I think we'll get along just fine. Your face is priceless, Shadow.
As if one wasn't enough, now I have two arrogant men to force into submission. You know, the more confident they are, the more joy their pathetic struggles bring me. I think I like you too, Vergilius. I can't wait to see what your tear-stained face looks like.
Ah. Dameda. Zen Dameda. This isn't just my fight anymore, Bato. Things aren't in your favor anymore, so you're bluffing with that big grin of yours.
As usual, you're quick to reach a conclusion. I'll make sure that your little friend will have the best introduction possible. Was the man who guided Dante to Beatrice also named Vergilius?
Yeah. Which is basically like the intent behind, like the purpose behind Vergilia, like early on, to guide, like a battler, quite a little bit.
In that case, I wonder if he'll lead you to me as well.
Wait a second. Oh shit, I actually forgot. Like, I was actually bringing up this point as well, like, during the last part of last note of the Golden Witch. Like if Vergilius existed in, like, the concept, that would mean that Vergilia does not exist here. Ooh, okay.
Ah, I wonder, will this man bring triumph or demise? I can't wait to see how you play this game.
Although, like, if I have to think about it, like, okay, like, conceptually wise, like, from Ryukishi's perspective, they shouldn't exist. It was either having, like, Vergilius, like, how he originally intended, or have Vergilia, like, after the rewrite. But story-wise, they shouldn't really conflict. It's not as if, Vergilia's existence would erase just by having Vergilius right over here, like, be here. They should exist at the same time. Like, nothing stops them. But from Ryukishi, from the author's perspective, it's one or the other.
And Stuart, I have no intentions of going easy on you just because you're a beginner.
Excellent. I am excited as well. I have no intentions of playing like a rookie either. Let's see if he can beat the both of us, Beatrice. Better posed dramatically, and Vergilius couldn't help but chuckle, causing Bella to blush in embarrassment. What is it? What's so funny? I didn't expect something so dramatic. In that case, allow me to join you. Vergilius moved to stand beside Bella, and pointed as well. Despite the wide, almost childish grin on his face, his style was far more refined than Bella's.
This is only the beginning, you two. Allow us to begin spinning the roulette. This game will surely take some interesting turns, so I hope you can keep up. I look forward to your desperate attempt at proving it wasn't a witch. Welcome to Rokenjima, Furudo Vergilius. Soon enough you'll regret coming here to challenge me. But maybe if you behave, I'll consider inviting you to my golden land as well.
Alrighty then. Let's see how this game is gonna turn out with Vergilius. Although chances are it's probably gonna be similar to Erika. Like, at first you have like this refined young lady, and then later on you're gonna find out that Erika is quite a gremlin little rat.
So, this Vergilius character.
The two had been sitting in their living room, reading the Forgery, were now taking a break, enjoying the cookies and the warm tea their servant had brought. Toya was intently staring at the cover of the Forgery, as though lost in thought, while munching on a cookie.
You've been like that for a while. You must really have a lot on your mind.
Ikuko had been eyeing up Toya as he continued to silently think. Even she, who had lived with him for a while, couldn't tell if the Forgery fascinated or bothered him. That is, until he spoke. I think I finally understand why the author chose the story to be episode 3. Oh. Ikuko's smile was curious, yet understanding. After all, this scenario, Virgilius' existence, it could not fit in any other place. Ikuko had reached the same conclusion that Toya had. For the sake of example, let's say that the first tale, Legend of the Golden Witch, is the beginning of everything. As the first tale discovered, it was the one that sparked not just public interest, but the concept of publicly released forgeries. However, the legend was unique. It was a tale that existed without any magic. It was a purely human story, with no perspective of the witch's side. Which, you know, it is pretty interesting. I mean, okay, like from the perspective of Ryukishi and the reader and all that, I guess it was done for the sake of easing you into the story. Like first you don't have like magic to kind of like to kind of make you think like, is this witch thing like actually real? Because otherwise, if you've seen like magic without knowing about the whole story about the unreliable narrator and like the nature of Umineko yet, you would see magic and then think, oh, well, I guess magic is real. So this would make you inclined to think that Beatrice exists even more. But no, like the purpose of the first episode was to make you question in similar fashion to the humans. Does this witch actually exist? Is magic actually possible? So yeah, that was like the intent behind like Ryukishi writing the first episode like that. But in story wise, for Beatrice to have written this without magic, like it's interesting. Like I wonder if it's the same reason. Maybe it is. I don't know. Like, Beatrice... I think from what I remember, like, the message bottles were different, right? It's not like the first episode and the second episode were in the same bottle. They were in completely separate bottles. So... I don't know, like, the purpose behind the Beatrice, like, putting these, like, out there is still something that I have to think about a little bit. But, like, if they were separate episodes, it's kind of interesting. I don't know. It was the first tale to begin the fight between Beatrice and Balder. The basic rules, the conflict, the victory or loss conditions, and vital moves such as the Red Truth were all introduced. Turn was Balder's first bout against the witch. It would be odd for Balder to gain an assistant prior to that. The ever-cocky Balder would have no reason to doubt his own abilities. In fact, he may have rejected the assistance altogether. Yeah, more than likely. Without a significant loss, there will be no justification to bring in extra help for Balder. As such, Purgatory could not be placed after Legend. In that case, then maybe Purgatory could also come after the third game, Banquet. After the third game. In that game, the concept of allies to the human side had been introduced through Virgilia. However, by the end, Balder had been fooled by Beatrice's North Wind and the Sun scheme, and was betrayed by those he thought to be his allies. At the time. Then eventually they become allies. Balder's trust in allies brought in by witches was greatly damaged, which would end up hurting someone he held dear. Even if Virgilius were to arrive on the board, Balder would most likely be unable to fully trust him and fight alongside him. his dynamic with Balor would simply not work as it does in Purgatory, where he is still naive and trusting of others. By the end of the Alliance, Ushiromiya Angie was introduced to the board, and became an ally to Balor. There would be no need for 2 human allies to Balor, brought to the board by the same witch. And, of course, the presence of Virgilius alongside Virgilia would have definitely caught his attention. All this means that Purgatory cannot follow Banquet. In that case, maybe Purgatory could follow Alliance. If that happened, then Furuto Virgilius would supplant the existence of Furuto Erika, the other invited guest. In that scenario, it is possible that the only overall change that would have occurred would be the replacement of sister by brother. At this point in the game, Beatrice is inactive, and Meta would refuse to accept any addition to the human side from an outsider. Even if that help was genuine, Meta would view it as hostile, and would not allow anyone to interfere in his game with battle. Due to this, not just Purgatory, but the existence of Virgilia could not follow Alliance. Still though, it's interesting. Even though Virgilius shares something in common with all the previous human side allies, he's still unique in his own way. What interested me is that his motives are clearer than those of the others. Virgilia was a witch who aided Balor, but her reasons were unclear, which led Balor to drop his guard and almost lose. Angie kept her objectives a secret, and when she realized that Ben Costello had manipulated her, her objectives began to clash. Her wish to help Balor win was unable to coexist with her desire to stay by his side. Yeah, and when it comes to Erika in episode 5, like, I don't remember them, like, ever, like, fighting together, like, against Beatrice. She was mostly her own entity, because at that point, like, Ben Costello and Lambda Delta would just barge in and say, hey, now we are your new rivals, so you can thank us. But in this case, Ben Costello is fighting against Beatrice, but with sort of that mentality of helping Balor in the process, which would be more in tune with after episode 2, rather than episode 5, where she's seen as more of an enemy than before, so yeah. Meanwhile, Erika's motives were more complicated. Initially, it seemed as though she was playing for the sake of intellectual stimulation, playing the game and attempting to win. However, her reasons went deeper than that. One could argue she was playing to be acknowledged. Yet at the same time, it could be said that her actions were solely malevolent. In the end, she never stated her true reasons, so the reader could interpret it how they wish. Ikuko took a sip from her cup as she stroked the sleeping bird before smirking. Virgilius arrived on the board, and transparently states his motivations and objectives. For a player like Balor, that's very reassuring. Their mutual goal promises Balor that he lacks a hidden agenda. In that sense, you can say that he's astonishingly simple compared to Balor's other allies. So what, is this also trying to say that they can entertain us with someone so simple? He is a pretty big contrast to the other characters. Well, he is an outsider after all. Don't you think it's fitting that his mindset is so different? I agree. If he was just another ally who had something to hide, then he wouldn't present anything new. But because they share the same objectives, they have an actual reason to team up.